and welcome back to another episode of Beyond Pixels. Today, we're thrilled to have with us a talented 2D artist from the powerhouse game development studio, Gameloft, Mr. João Acácio. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
So, let's jump right in. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey as a 2D artist? What initially drew you to this field within the gaming industry?
Yes, so when I was a kid, I would play a lot of different video games, right? And I'll be noticing that with time, I'll be spending as much time with these customization features in the games as I would actually be playing the game itself. And later on, with this, I will grow up and create this gaming community with my friends. And I found it to be the perfect opportunity to get started with something. So I created the logo and the social media images. And from that, I just started playing with Photoshop and sketching a bit more. And eventually, I found myself doing freelance work for a couple of years, where I will start to develop my own style, especially doing a lot of these live stream designs and assets and overlays for streamers, or overall branding and visual designs for some personalities and organizations inside the gaming industry. And almost 2 years ago, I received this rare opportunity to work for Gameloft Barcelona. And within a month, I moved from Lisbon to Barcelona, and now we are here.
All right. Now, at Gameloft, you've undoubtedly worked on a diverse range of mobile game projects. What are some of the unique challenges you face in creating compelling visuals, specifically for the mobile gaming market?
So great question. Um, so when we are designing the user interface for mobile games, we really have to consider a lot of different factors in comparison with the console. For example, optimizing the interface for screens of different sizes, resolutions, or ensuring that the UI elements are large and clear enough, even on smaller devices. And additionally, the navigation should always be intuitive and also easy to use on touchscreens. So we have to always keep in mind all of these sort of things. And currently, the challenge is greater as we are one of the few studios doing multi-cross platform, which I think it adds a significant challenge since the same UI is going to be navigated on three different devices.
Mhm.
And I would also say maybe coming up with visuals for the gaming market, it requires some uh, definitely some creativity and technical knowledge, and for sure adaptability. So we always keep up with this evolving market and the new trends that are always coming and appearing.
Exactly. So this brings me to my next question. Speaking of visuals, Gameloft is known for its stunning and distinct art styles across games. Can you walk us through your creative process? How do you approach tailoring your art style to different game genres?
Yes, so our creative process begins by first understanding the game genre and the target audience we are working with. And then we do research on the visual trends and artistic references for inspiration for the game that we are developing. Uh, then we start developing some initial concepts based on the project's art direction, and we refine them in collaboration with the whole development and the design teams.
All right. So, as a 2D artist, having the right tools at your disposal is crucial. What are some of your favorite software programs you rely on to create those eye-catching game visions?
So my main tools that I work with uh, are for sure Photoshop, Illustrator, and Figma. These for my main type of work. The one I rely most, I will say that it's Photoshop because it's where I am totally more comfortable with since I am 15 years old and where I feel that I can enhance like any asset that I create and make anything look good in there because of how complete of a program it is and all the many effects that you can achieve by unlimited ways. Everyone can do the same thing and by unlimited ways. It's really amazing of a program. Figma we use a lot for more UI related work for sure, and Illustrator because basically it is the best program to work with vectorial formats, in my opinion, and how good Illustrator can correlate with Photoshop and Figma design features. You can literally copy a vector in Illustrator that you just made and paste it on Photoshop and Figma instantly, I find super good.
Where do you find inspiration for your art? Are there specific artists, games, or styles that influence your work in a particular way?
Um, I really like to see and explore Behance and Pinterest and see how much of a variety it exists in there because these are really good websites for inspiration. Behance more for specific things that I'm looking for, specific projects or specific style, and Pinterest I would say more for mood board creation. It has super cool things, also specific things, but I would say not as specific directly because it gives you a lot of an overall ideas, and I would say Behance is better for when you really have something in mind already. In my case, of course. On my personal style, I think I take some inspiration from games like Cyberpunk or these futuristic dystopian styles that you can find a lot in movies and animations. But of course, we have to keep in mind that these not may not apply all the time. In my case, at Gameloft, because we have to follow briefings and art directions, and you have to know how to work with a variety of ranges of different styles. And in the end, it all depends on the specific art direction for each specific and different game that we are working with. And that's also super fun because you can really explore a lot of different styles, and I found that to be super cool.
That's fantastic. Now, looking ahead, the mobile gaming market is constantly evolving. In your opinion, what are some exciting trends you see shaping the future of mobile game art?
That's an interesting question. I think that the advancements in the mobile hardware specifically are making uh, each time more easy for ray tracing and other graphic enhancements. And this gives artists the opportunity to create beautiful environments and art all around that can go against those of the console and PC games, especially with all of these new VR and augmented reality devices and features that are being created. And I'm also really curious to see how the art side of things will develop and all the cool HUDs that could be created for these. I love HUDs. And but I guess that this type of things only the future can tell with a lot of artistic explorations.
That's a great point. When it comes to developing games for different platforms like mobile, consoles, or PC, how does the approach to 2D art differ? Are there specific challenges or opportunities you encounter when creating art for mobile devices?
Yeah, there are for sure. Firstly, we have to ensure that our art assets are compatible with all these different platforms, with the screen aspect ratios and device specifications, which requires a lot of careful planning and testing to maintain consistency and quality across all the platforms that we are working with. And a very quick example would be that we have to keep in mind that on mobile, the most interactive UI should always be placed in areas for more easy access for the fingers or thumbs, so it makes the playability much more easy for the player.
Artificial intelligence is making waves across various industries. How do you see AI potentially impacting the field of 2D game art in the coming years? Do you think it will revolutionize the creative process or artist roles?
Yes, so AI has actually been used in the industry in some aspects for some time now. For example, in data analysis or to generate and rendering maps, and maybe in some other features that I'm not really that aware about. But in that aspect, I think that it can have an impact in the future, and it should help developers make better games. However, on the artistic level, I work with a lot of talented artists, and we don't work with AI generated art. And in my opinion, we really should always prioritize human art first. And I think that companies should protect their artists by not allowing these AI generating features to be used in the industry. And I also think that AI can potentially be amazing for our evolution if it's very well regulated, but leave the artistic side of things to the humans because it's literally a way of expression and human feel, and not something that an AI should be able to create in a second by, in the end, by stealing the art from us that in the end it gets fed uh, by our own work just to create something in seconds.
That's an interesting perspective. Let's shift gears a bit and talk about some of your personal experiences. Looking back at some of your earlier work at Gameloft projects, how has your artistic style and approach evolved over time? What factors have contributed to this artistic growth?
When I joined Gameloft, I first entered a phase of integration, and I quickly got the idea of how to create different requested assets that I will be assured with, and do many explorations until I was comfortable with the final result for each. For example, when I first joined, one of my first tasks will be to create car liveries and character suit designs, where I would draw around and explore until I find the wished final look, having also in mind the giving briefing for each car and character. And these car liveries and character suit designs are not something that artists are commonly associated with. I think it's something specific and depends a lot on which type of work you are working with. But it's super cool how you can learn these very specific art styles just by doing them a lot of times, and in the end, you get very good at something that you are not very familiar with. And this happened not just with the suit designs or the car designs, but with a lot of different things that we work with. And yeah, I think that this was the best example to give and to show how you can really learn a lot, things that you initially had no idea about.
Now, finally, would you like to share some advice for people starting out their venture with 2D game art or any companies looking to expand into this field of tech? Where do you see the future of 2D game art?
Yes, of course. Um, First of all, I think that if you want to grow as an artist, very often talent helps a lot, of course, but sometimes is not enough if you don't put the hard work in. So if you really love what you do and practice it a lot with consistency, with time you will notice how good you really have become. So put the hours in and really trust the process. And also, don't be afraid to seek feedback from other people because it's very important to our growth. And if you are at the beginning, also don't be afraid to try new things and new styles because all these different varieties of work that you can do will really shape your own art style long term. And if you are always inside the bubble, I think that you will eventually find a time where you may stagnate a bit and not feel that much of a progression. So really try new things because it's very fun and you learn a lot. But most importantly, and again, stay consistent. Really trust the process, and super importantly too, really believe in yourself.
Now, thank you so much, Mr. João Acácio, for joining us on Beyond Pixels today. It's been a pleasure hearing about your experiences and insights as a 2D artist at Gameloft. We wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you so much. The pleasure was all mine.